Hello guys, and welcome to Life Loving Gardening. Today I will be making a vegan dehydrated wrap, or at least the shell for the wrap for your sandwich. And so in this wrap there will be some Swiss chard, some collard greens, some celery right here, some onion. You can use white or yellow. And then I have yellow bell pepper. And I have here, this is yellow and green bell pepper right here. And some carrots and some jalapeno and some flax seed. Okay, so what I'm going to do to start off with is I'm going to ground the flax seed to make flaxseed meal. And with that, you also want to have about maybe a cup or more of water. And so I don't have exact measurements, but I can get those if anyone would like. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with grinding our flax meal. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our flax meal ground up. You know, I'm going to do half of it and then dump it and then do the other half. I use this meal right here a lot. Okay, can you see what that looks like there? Okay, and so I may or may not use all of this. I'm not sure. I don't have the exact recipe on me because typically I don't use recipes. I just figure out the ingredients that I want to use and I just mix it up until my heart's content. See, so that's nice and fluffy right here. I'll put that off to the side. All right, so I have some Swiss chard right here from my garden that has already been washed pretty well. All right, and I'm just going to give this a good chop, and I'm going to use the stems as well. So I like to just get it. Let me chop off the ends here. And I just roll it. And if you're using a food processor, you don't have to be this precise. You know, just how you would cut your greens if you're about to cook some greens. And I do have some greens as well, some collard greens. These are, I believe, Champion collard greens. Right here. And I am not going to use the ribs of these. If they were like really, really small and tender, then I would. And if you want to get the whole rib, then this is what you do. Right there, all the way to the end. Right. Okay. And the only reason I'm cutting these just so it can be a little bit easier on my blender or grinder or food processor. collard greens there. Let me see if I want to use a little bit more Swiss chard. I do plan to make me a green juice, so I am going to save a little bit of my Swiss chard. I'm going to save a little bit of, I'm going to let this be it. So I think that was maybe about 6 leaves of greens. Okay. So I just have my bowl that I'm going to throw my greens into. Oh yeah, let's not forget about these stalks. So let's go ahead and cut the stalks up here. And I know you're like, she's using that little paring knife. I don't feel like dirtying up a bunch of dishes, so this is going to be just fine. And these stalks are so filled with water. All right. Take these and put it in my bowl as well. Okay, so next I have some carrots that I'm just gonna chop up a little bit just to make them a little bit easier on my food processor. Okay. Just gonna do a little bit at a time. I have a couple more carrots over here if I need them, but I'm just gonna do a little bit of this at a time. All right, and these are kitchen gadgets that I use all of the time. All right, so don't judge me if things look a little beat up and tattered. That's because they are very lovingly used on a daily basis. And this is how things look when you use them all the time. All right. Let's see how it looks in there. Where did I put my flax? Okay. And the smaller I get them in this little processor here, the better it will be when I blend it. Okay. And this is how it looks. Very fine. Okay, and I'm just gonna take it and dump it in here. And I haven't made this wrap very many times. The reason I'm doing this wrap right now is because I'm on like this raw vegan journey, and this journey is going to be very short-lived as far as I know. I don't have it in my plans unless God has it in his plans for me. This is maybe going to last for, I would say, no more than 30 days. I'm just trying to cleanse my system, help kind of detox a little bit, and so this is one of the things that I'm doing. Some more carrots in here. Move the bowl out of the way. And this little gadget here, this little food processor, is good for grinding meat and things like that. When you want to make your own homemade sausage or ground beef, this comes in really handy if you want to use it for that. Okay, I'm going to chop up a couple more carrots. So as you can see, carrots are mainly the bulk of this recipe, I believe. And it gives a very kind of, well, I would say like a mildly sweet kind of flavor, you know, because most breads, when you bake them, they do call for a little bit of sugar. You know, that sweet and that salty balance. Even though we're not baking this, I'm just going to dehydrate it. And those of you who may be like, where are her gloves at? I'm at home. This is home cooking. This is for myself or my family. And so this is soulful cooking here. Soulful vegan cooking. If there is such a thing. Here we go. Sounds like everything's chopped up pretty good. And it is. Okay. And even if you don't use this all for a wrap, you can always use it to make like a carrot cake or carrot cake pancakes or a bread loaf, some kind of bread loaf. Or you can take it and throw it in your spaghetti sauce, like if you have the kiddos and they don't really want to eat vegetables that you can see, you know, so you just take it and blend it up really good and throw it in your tomato sauce for your spaghetti or lasagna or any gravies that you want to make or stews. A good way to get some extra veggies. I'm going to try to get some out of this lid because I don't like to waste food. Here we go. All right, so we have our carrots. We have our peppers. I'm talking to you guys, but I'm also talking to myself so that I can remember what I'm putting in here. Okay, so I can remember that I'm not forgetting something. Oh, jalapeno. Okay, so with the jalapeno, you want to make sure that you wear gloves or wash your hands very well. I'm probably going to use about half a jalapeno. And I want it just a little bit spicy, so I'm going to leave the ribs in, but not so much the seeds. Okay. I probably can put this in my food processor. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to see if it does pretty good in my food processor. Because it's not so, I don't have a lot of jalapenos, so I don't know how this is going to chop it. Oh, I can smell the heat coming off of this already. And it did pretty good. Oh, geez. Yeah. That's spicy. Making me cough. Here we go. And it chopped it up pretty good. Now remember, I am going to put this in like a blender and blend it up a little bit. So I'm just gonna leave this off to the side here. All right, so let's see. Okay, so I'm going to add this to my high-powered blender here. Okay, so I think I'm going to add in my greens first. The last time I used my little short pitcher, and I was struggling so bad with it. So I'm going to use my big one this time. And I'm going to go ahead and give this a blend, and I'll be back to let you see how it's looking. And so as you can see, it chopped it up pretty decent. All right, so I'm going to add in my bell peppers. And my celery. And my onions here. Where are those peppers? Okay, and the peppers. And I'll go ahead and add in my half of my carrots. Okay, and so this is how it's looking. It's getting more pureed at the bottom than the top, but it's doing pretty good. Add in some more carrots here. We're just gonna dump it all in. Okay, so I blended it a little bit more, and I'm just gonna try to get everything off the sides and down in there. And I'm gonna get about let's start with a half a cup of water from my Berkey. See if that helps it get moving a little bit more. So that half a cup of water did help it to start getting moving a little bit more. I don't want to add too much water right now because I do have to add the flax meal. And that Swiss chard has a lot of water in the stalks and things. I don't want it to be too watery. I almost want it to be the consistency of like baby food almost. Like stage 2 baby food, which is, you know, not super smooth and pureed, but, you know, pretty much. Not such a fine puree. So let me blend it a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding, let me show you this. I'm going to start adding the flax meal in here. So this is the consistency of it. And there's a lot of water in there. You know, onions have a lot of water, and then the bell pepper and the celery has a lot of water. So let me start with adding some flax meal in here. Let's see how that looks when I blend it up. All right, so I blended it, and I'm going to add maybe a fourth of a cup of water in here. Push it around first. Okay, so I put a little bit of water in there. I think I'm gonna do one more. I think this is a fourth of a cup of flax meal. Then I'm gonna give it a blend. You want to make sure you get that flax meal blended up pretty good in there because it will leave clumps if you don't. Of flax meal. All right, so this is what it's looking like after I blended it up. All right, so I'm going to pour it back into this bowl. I'm not worried about those little pieces. I hope you're not, because I am not worried about it at all. Okay. And if I need a little bit more, or if I think I need a little bit more flax meal, I will add it. I should get my bigger little spatula, but I don't feel like washing any more dishes, so we just gonna make this work. That's my oven. I have to get more dehydrator sheets for my dehydrator, so I'm just going to try and use it. Try to use my oven for it. Try to put it in my oven on about between 175 to 200 degrees, I believe. I think I got about all I can get out of there. I'm gonna give it a good little stir and see if I like it. Almost like if you're making like a sweet potato souffle, kinda, that's what it's giving me, that kind of gloppy feeling. Okay, I think I'm gonna add a little bit more flax milk. Well, I only have a little bit left, so I might as well add it. I'm gonna spread it out so that it's not clumping all over the place, because the water makes the flax meal a little bit like gelatinous. Okay, so now it's time to add some seasonings. All right, so I'm gonna add some salt. Didn't add all of that. And then I'm going to taste this to see if I like the way it tastes. Okay. And then some table blend. And some pepper. A little bit of onion powder. Okay, stir it around really good. And I'm going to give it a taste. See if I like it. Some more table blend. That jalapeno is kicking. But I like spice, so it's not a big thing. And a little bit more onion powder. Now you do want to be careful with the salt, because this is going to dehydrate, so all of the fluid, all of the liquid is going to evaporate, therefore intensifying the flavor and the salt content of this. So don't over salt it. If you think you have just a little, too little salt in there, it's probably going to be just right when it dehydrates.